Good evening, good Friday. It's us again, Carol and Steph, on a community conversation. Stephanie is my co-host, and I am and Mickey is your pilot. We don't want to forget about Mickey Jordan in the backdrop. Stephanie, and my name is Carol McIntosh. I'm running for the First Ward City Council seat. I'd appreciate any support that you're willing to give me, but the best support is your vote. So on August 6th. Cast your ballot if you're in the first ward for myself, Carol McIntosh. Okay, Steph, is it anything you'd like to say?
Good afternoon, everybody. Just glad you could join us today. We got the super producer El Jefe, Spacely Sprocket. He got about 10 names.
When you're famous like that, you got to switch
Yeah,
it
we
up.
just affectionately call him Big Mick on the ones and twos with us. So
Ah, the ones and twos, the new age ones and twos.
yeah, the new ones, the 2.0 ones and twos. So
Mhm.
not just getting back into the groove of things. Thanks everybody that called and reached out last week. I had COVID, so it's out here. It never left, and this new strain is I'm
I'm
still fighting some stuff. So I just everybody just keep me in prayer. But I'm putting my mask on when I'm out in public, in deep public from here on out, and I'm breaking my sanitizer out. So if I spray you, don't take it personal.
trying to save lives and
I'm,
health.
I'm trying to save all of us, okay?
Right. That's right. That's right. That's right. So it's been an interesting week. This is a community conversation, as I said. And a lot has went on this week. We had a forum, and yesterday we had a meet the candidates event, and you still got to do your regular hustle. And I'm still up at 4:30 in the morning going to my day job that pays the bills.
Yeah.
So it's been hard. And Stephanie was sick, but she's still rolling with me. So I thank her so much for that. We've been going hard in the paint.
She's a slave driver, y'all. She had me working with the computer and stuff in the bed with me with COVID.
And you can still do some computer work. No, I'm just kidding.
She was like, "You can still do some stuff. Ain't nothing wrong with your fingers."
Like Michael Jackson, got me working day and night. Yeah, but
it
they
was it was okay. It was good to sometimes to have something else to do besides just sitting there trying to cough a lung up. So
right. But we're gonna jump into it because we want to talk about so much be going on in the city. You know, once that sunshine comes out, the whole atmosphere, hemisphere, all the fear, everything just seems to just go
man,
crazy. Yeah, it does. So we've been to, as you know, I've been talking about a
yeah.
public safety plan and how the gun violence is turning into a health crisis, a public safety crisis, I mean. And so now the city of Flint has issued a safe summer initiative to fight crime. And what they will be doing is the police will be targeting so-called hotspots like pop-up parties, parties at the park. Somebody said house parties. And they said some of these house parties are lasting till 7 a.m., which causes a disturbance in the neighborhood. So I can understand that because I have to be up at 4:30 in the morning. So I want to hear you bumping at no 3 and 4, and you ain't got no job neither. Oh Lord have mercy.
I
So
mean, just
anyway,
imagine you got to get up at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, and you got somebody out at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning playing loud music, racing cars up and down the street, uh, fighting, all kind of foolishness, twerking on the car. Just it's crazy.
living their worst life and thinking they living their best life.
Hey, Free Daddy and Dot. Is it Dottie? Is it Free Dottie or Free? Because that's a girl, so I know it's not Free Daddy, but Dottie. Okay, and Mitzi. Hey, Mitzi girl. Hey, girl. And
Say hi to everybody.
Christine Leach. Hey, how are you guys doing today? If you
Yeah,
are online right now, we are asking for you to click like and share.
share that. Share that.
Share it for us, guys.
So We always want to acknowledge you guys. Thank you for joining us. And I'm glad y'all on here because we want to know what you think about these things that we're going to touch bases on. So we like you to voice your opinion in the comments.
Nancy.
Yes, yes.
Nancy, hey, Nancy.
You on
Ooh,
your big computer, Stephanie?
yeah, I got my big computer out today
Because
because
look, I'm over here. I need a microscope.
no. I got my big pewter out. I ain't even got to put no glasses on today.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, girl. I need some binoculars to see them names. But I'm still happy that you're joining us because we want y'all to voice your comments in the comments.
Yeah,
Let your opinions be heard.
we
So this
we
is what go
we
ahead,
need
Steph.
to get you guys give us feedback and stuff, and that helps us to figure out what we need to talk about next, and also just give your perspective on things. We want to hear what you have to say.
Absolutely. And I want to say hello to Miss Anonymous who calls me often and she called me and I met her actually in Walmart and she got on me about not having a mask on, but I bought my little scoop dupe onto the house. I didn't get rid of it. She'll know what I'm talking about. But anyway, what we were talking about is these crimes and stuff. What you think about this, Stephanie? Because they said house parties now, and I'm thinking, if you on the wrong side of people and somebody don't like you somewhere that got a little bit or just an ounce of juice around here, because I'm finding out that there's a few of us that are truly for the cause, but we got a lot of petty Freddies and petty Betties sitting in high places. So, what you think about? Because what concerns me about the house party thing is if I'm partying at my house where I pay the bills now, but you
Yeah.
got to control your crowd. I understand that you got to control your crowd. And
Well,
7 o'clock is too late.
I
7
think you
o'clock
have
a.m.
to.
too late.
I hope. I hope. Now we are talking about Flint, so I'm gonna say I hope again that we are using, or the police are using, discernment in this, because there is a difference between, per se, me, Stephanie, 50 plus year old woman having a party
Yeah,
with my people, and we might be out to maybe 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning at the house, because we might be a little tipsy, we might be hanging out a little bit, or it's nice outside, we outside, or whatever, versus
right.
full blown after hours, taking $10 to get in. We're loud music, people all outside hanging off the cars, and so I think there's a difference between maybe a small disturbance and a public nuisance.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with all that you've said because some people, like I said, don't know how to control their crowd, and sometimes the crowd is uncontrollable. Period. So,
Um,
go ahead.
I think it goes back to, it goes back to, even I'm gonna probably venture to even say, maybe even as far back as when we were young. There's always been a shortage of places to go, or for people, for kids to have an outlet, or young adults. Some of them are young. Some of these people out here causing all of this confusions and stuff is almost old as me. So they should know better. When you're in your 20s, I look at you a little bit different than when you are in your 30s. You 35, 36 years old, 40 years old, and you still, out here doing that type of stuff. But
Yeah,
I think I think we need to. They're saying, what I feel like is going on is it's a band aid. It's a band
yeah,
aid on the problem.
yeah.
Um, that I think they need to come up with some places, or maybe, well, I don't know, because that's a double-edged sword too. So I hate to get into that, because there are places for them to go, and there's places for the over 30, the under 30, the whatever. But
Right.
um then there has to be control there, because there's shootings and fights and stuff like that. So I don't know
Okay.
what the
Well,
root of the problem is, but
well,
something needs to
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell
be
you. First of all, the root of the problem is we already don't have enough boots on the ground.
well,
Because
that's
if you patrolling your communities. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
Before this nuisance get to be a nuisance, you rolling up, they bumping a little late. Cause I'm cruising through the neighborhood. Who is this bumping at 4 in the morning? Johnny Law. You should be,
Well,
you'll pull up on some of that if you was patrolling. Don't wait till it's a nuisance. Sometimes we need crime prevention. That means before the crime happen or before the problem start. And see, that also brings back up the point that I've been making about the gun violence and gang task force unit. Because if you had a gun violence and gang task force unit and that's all they worked on, then that would free up our regular coats.
you know what? I hate to also say this, but I believe it is true. There was something to the community policing. We need to um
Oh, absolutely.
we had when we remember those guys. I like I said, I always use him as an example, but I remember Lee Crosland. Lee Crosland was
Mm-hmm.
my whole family. So let me get in trouble or let me do something. He would be on the phone.
Remember Harlem Green?
Yeah, Harlan Green, all of them. I mean,
Mm,
they
yes.
knew my family. So like, if I saw one of them, I was like, okay, well, it's time for me to go on ahead and go. Cause see, I don't want no problems later on. Cause I'd be coming home and my daddy'd be like, so you was out at so and so, like
It'll get back to them. And
quick.
well, I guess our parents was some snitches too. Because they call and tell it. They call and tell your mama. Our parents wasn't our friend. That's number one.
No, they
My
wasn't.
mama, my mama wasn't out there trying to twerk with me,
Mm-mm,
and my daddy wasn't out there trying to sag with my brother,
mm-mm.
so that make a difference too. I think we've lost something as parents
Yeah.
and how we do things because we didn't care. My mama called and told on one of my friend girls. We still good friends to this day. And she was not being smart in her situation. And my mama called her mama right on up and dropped a dime right in her face and told her she was gonna
Oh,
tell.
oh,
And
you,
they ain't
I know
care.
you done heard the stories about Gator and my daddy and my mama and Dee Dee, and they were legend. They we had some
Mhm.
epics. Me and Dee would come
Mhm.
home and be like, "What? How you find out
We
about
had
that?
to,
Don't
in
worry
other
about
words, we had to sneak. So,
it."
these kids, they do what they want to do. But part of the problem, too, because I want to talk about the crime, and I think it's because we need to get a hold on our young people. And okay, maybe that's part of this pop up party stuff. But like I said, we need some crime prevention. We need some boots on the ground. We need surveillance. Um,
I
we need,
think there also
because,
needs to be a real conversation with recruiting
oh,
police officers
absolutely. What we talked
because
about, first of all, you got to pay them. They don't want to pay nobody nothing.
you gotta pay them. You know what? When before I moved back here, I was on the East Coast. In the area that I lived in the East Coast, they had a very innovative program where they gave like down payment
Signing bonus.
well, no, they gave if you bought a home in the jurisdiction that you were working in, then they
Mm-hmm.
gave you like a
Some
nice
incentives.
amount of your down payment. Like, I mean, in some cases, I know a guy that got like $10,000 for
Oh
a down
yeah.
payment assistance, and now he had to stay in that house for 5 years, and
Okay.
he had to stay in there. He couldn't get the house and rent it out.
Right.
He had to stay in the house for 5 years. And if he did by chance leave or something like that before then, there was a sliding scale of like how much money, like for each year, he got a amount knocked off for how much he would have to pay back. But it was
Okay.
part of his mortgage or whatever that he had to pay that money back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that puts makes them be vested
In the
with the
community
community.
and keeping it crime free because they live in the community.
Because you're
Yeah.
not gonna have the trap house next to the sergeant.
Right.
So,
Right. Right.
or you're not gonna have the trap house next to the patrolman.
Right.
Well, you're
I
not
don't know. They
you
put
would
the hit
think
list.
so.
They put the hit list on Instagram, but
Yeah.
maybe not. But it would help to have some police presence right there in the community.
I
And
think we're
another,
in a unique situation. So I think part of the plan that needs to be put in place is you have to come up with some innovative and unique ideas to bring talent here and keep them here. I mean,
right.
and I feel like that for the police department and the fire department. I mean, they that's something that they need to do.
Well, we got people. That's a whole nother show. But anyway, well, to go along with that, like I said, like I said in the forum, we still got poison water.
Yeah,
How do you think you're gonna attract working class, young families, young taxpayers, people who can afford and are willing to pay a house note to buy a new beautiful home? First of all, they look at your school system, your school district is terrible. Then they look at the community. You don't have no police presence really rolling through the neighborhoods. They might go up and down the main street once or twice, but look, you got to ride these neighborhoods. That's where the get down is going on at.
yeah, that's true.
And you know, and then like I said, we still got poison water. So who is that going to track? Let's be, clear. Most of the people that still here are on fixed incomes. Maybe they can't afford to leave. Maybe their home is paid for, so they don't want to give their home up because they worked hard to pay it off. Then make sure that their life is a little comfortable and they got their bills set right here. And maybe getting this $1,000 and $1,500 and $900 for an apartment ain't feasible. And I don't know how much a new house will cost them, but will
Yeah.
you find, once they have to buy a new house, they leave in the community. If I have to move out my house, I'm going somewhere where the water clean. That's the first thing.
I think we need to have an honest um or I think the need for transparency is we need to be transparent about exactly what's going on. There needs to be a comprehensive study of exactly what's what's happening in that water at the water facility. Like from the time that the water leaves that facility to say for instance that
That's
northern
the comment.
yeah, that northern neighborhood, Stephanie, get that smart water to hydrate the vitamin C packets before bedtime and some straight. I will do that, Christine. Thank you so much. Yeah, my aunt gave me some vitamin C packets, so thank you. Um, I feel like we don't know because they've replaced they've done some band-aid type things. They've replaced some of the things. We know they still haven't replaced everything,
Okay,
but
well then it's a no go then, because bacteria and debris and poison flows. It ain't gonna just stop at the old pipes and don't enter the clean pipes. So basically, that just really kills the cow. Gee, I mean, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, Steph.
no, you're absolutely right. I just think that right now, we've been sold a a
Raw
lie
deal.
that we're gonna just I'm just gonna say a lie is we've been sold a lie that the water has been that is clean. It is not. If you live in the city, I mean, if you live in the city and go away for you go away for a couple of days and you come back and look at your toilet bowl.
Hmm.
That's not me not cleaning my house because I'm clean.
Right, surely is. I can vouch for it.
I'm clean.
Mhm,
I mean,
mhm.
at one point in my bouginess, I had a cleaning lady.
I know that's right.
uh,
Okay, so Mickey, do we have any comments concerning this before I move on to our next issue that plagues us?
No, ma'am. I've been putting up all the comments you've been putting up. I
okay.
can still
I,
the last. This was the last, most current comment that was up.
I ain't been able to see them. What they say?
Marcus from Fairfield, California. Okay, Fairfield. Where's Fairfield at, Marcus? What part of California is Fairfield?
I think it's by the Napa Valley because he
Is
told
it
me
better than
earlier,
that?
he's telling me come down there. I'm gonna take a trip. He said we can go down there. It's wine tasting, so it got to be
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
You know what? I know some friends that did a train.
Wine tasting tour.
Yeah, that train tour. That's what I want to do.
That sounds nice.
Well, thanks, Marcus. Okay, Carol, I guess we need to get back on track. I just uh with that water with the water situation, I just think that until we have complete transparency and honesty about the situation, we're gonna our kids are gonna be 30 years from now talking about how we fumbled the ball.
Oh, that's definitely because we definitely fumbling, which brings me to the next problem that we have in our community that's not talked about: our overdose issues. It still comes down to not enough boots on the ground. We need drug education. We have a fentanyl issue. And what are we going to do about it? We need inpatient, outpatient services. It takes supports program, treatment centers, which offer some type of family support because we have to realize adults that are on drugs often have children that they're responsible for. Sad enough to say that we have people strung out in care of young lives.
Well, wait
So
a
we
minute. Didn't we get a couple of $1 million for fentanyl? Oh, I forgot that went to the station over there on Clyde Road. Never mind.
okay.
Continue. Sorry.
You terrible. So yeah, we got $8.6 million, and more is supposed to come to fight the our fentanyl and opioid issues that we're having. Because what we know is that areas that are riddled with crime, that includes drug addiction. But it's not
Mhm.
just a Flint issue. This is a national issue, and a lot of people come from the suburbs into Flint to buy their drugs. Cause I done seen them riding around. I can tell when you don't belong to my
Yeah,
community.
you can
Looking all,
tell.
yeah,
Mhm.
you can tell they be sticking out like a
Mhm.
sore thumb on a giraffe's foot with a
Waiting,
human
waiting to
being.
right, waiting to get robbed or something.
Yep, yep, yep. So, you know, that's the opioid epidemic because it is an epidemic.
Mhm.
And fentanyl is out of control. So this adds to the gang violence and stuff like that because where there is drug use, there's drug money. Okay, and we got our area. We're plagued with so many things.
Yeah,
Um,
multitude of. We still got people smoking crack.
right,
And
and
that, I mean,
so
that's not funny, but it is what it is.
right, and so we need to figure out what kind of services our community rendered for that $8.6 million, because there's been a lot of money coming into the area, but exactly what have we been spending it on? And like I said, more dollars are supposed to be coming in concerning the opioid and fentanyl situation. So
Um, I think
go ahead.
when you listen to somebody, now everybody's story is different, but just from my minute experience with dealing with people that have had those types of issues, I noticed an overwhelming amount of them, it starts off because I had a tooth pulled, or I got in a car accident, or I had some kind of trauma go on that I got hurt. And then I started taking these pills. And before you know it, I was hooked on them.
Hmm.
So I do see some things in place when you go to the doctor. Now, I mean, I remember maybe 5 or 6, maybe 5 to 10 years ago. I remember about 10 years ago, I had surgery, and the doctor. I mean, I could have had gotten as many. I'm not that person because I take stuff like that. If I take like hydrocodone, was it hydrocodone or nor I think I had like narco or something like that I had.
Hmm.
I was having bad dreams. So and then I don't like that. When I woke up, I had that haze and that drug induced like feeling when I woke up.
Hmm.
So I didn't like that. So I'm not that person. It's got to be bad for me to take something like that. But I just noticed the culture that we have now. I remember us when we were growing up. I mean, we didn't pills weren't really that big of a thing, and then they're shooting up like with heroin and stuff like that. You know, anything with a needle, we were like, oh no, that was your
Hmm.
That was your
Well,
cousin that came back from Vietnam that did that, not us, you know.
well, I think, but see that's the whole start of it. Because you know who I often think about. You triggered a thought. Michael Jackson. Remember how health conscious
Mhm.
Michael Jackson was? He was sleeping in a bubble. He didn't eat
Mhm.
sugar. He didn't let sunlight. And then
He
his
got that
hair caught
Pepsi
on fire.
commercial.
His
Yep, that
hair caught
Pepsi
on fire in
commercial.
that Pepsi commercial, and he
Mhm.
ended up addicted to the point where he needed God dog. And what is that drug? Which is
Propofol,
propofol. Yep, which is used when you're
for
going
certain
under
things.
as an if
Mhm.
you anesthesiologist usually administers this,
Yeah.
and he's using this as a sleep aid. So you got to be to a certain extent really addicted to feel like you need a this type of administering to rest. So the bottom line is I'm looking at from this conversation today, we have a gun violence issue amongst our youth that's intertwined with gang violence, opioid and fentanyl addiction. We're still in a water crisis. And while, all of this while recovering still from a pandemic. This is also enough to trigger a mental health setback, breakdown, PTSD, depression, anxiety, etc. The bottom line is this helps catapult you into a possible mental health crisis. I mean, because it's all hard news, you know?
And you got to think about it, Carol, too. The opioid, I mean, the water crisis was started in what, 2014. So this is 2024.
Hmm.
We got a, a class of children that are now young adults
That have not
that were
received any
affected,
type of
have
treatment.
not received any kind of treatment, no help. I saw one thing where a lady was on Channel 12, and um, you could tell that she was a fighter. Like she recognized that her son had issues, and she was trying to make sure that her son got everything that he was supposed to have. And I totally agree.
2012.
I
It looked
remember
like
her saying,
it
huh?
looked like somebody said 2012 is when the water crisis started. I'm
The
sorry. Go ahead,
2012.
sir.
Okay, I
Mhm.
missed. I said 2014, but 2012. God,
Mhm.
I need this conversation. I've been paying med. Oh, she's been on pain medication since 2012, and
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
they
say. It
were
wasn't a
giving
water crisis. She
them
was
away
talking
like
about.
candy.
Yeah,
That's
she been on it because you're talking about
mhm.
opiates. She said she been on
Right.
pain meds since 2012.
And you got to realize too, at one point, the pharmaceutical industry, they was paying doctors and rewarding them and gifting them to push certain medications. That's when the price of
Absolutely,
medication was through the roof. And like you said,
absolutely.
this was before they had that what the controlled substance situation,
What they
going now.
stopped those pharmaceutical reps from giving all of those gifts and stuff that they were giving. Because had a friend that was a pharmaceutical rep. Girl, they were paying for Ruth's Chris dinners and strip clubs, and they were paying for. I mean,
Handsomely.
to Vegas, everything. They those people were, and he was making over six figures.
And I was watching a special where, and I don't remember where they said this was happening. I want to say in the Philly area or either in Florida, but they had Peel Meals.
That was Florida,
Okay. Was that for?
Florida.
And I remember it got
They
so
was
bad. I
coming
was,
back up to Philadelphia and Kentucky and all those places. Yep.
man, and they had at one place they had a semi where they were stacking bodies where these people was dropping dead. These people was out there zombified.
Mhm.
It was a mess. But somebody got paid big money to turn working class people, depressed people, people that were fighting mental health issues, people that were having pain from doing honest work, and just found themselves in this situation because I mean I remember that. I mean, because I was going to the doctor and man, they was giving me I remember
That's what I was about to
Xanax,
say. You could have had whatever you wanted.
Xanax,
You had good
Vicodin.
insurance, baby. They were handing it out. 60-day supplies. I remember.
Yes, 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 yes. And what's the other one that used to go with? You used to take the Vicodin. You used to have it used to be a pain pill and a muscle relaxer. Vicodin
Yeah,
and what?
Mm,
Whatever it was, I had them too. They
Xanax,
was
was
the
it Xanax? No, Xanax was
I had
anxiety.
Xanaxes. Yeah, I had Xanaxes too. They gave me Xanaxes too, and this the Vicodins and the Somas,
Was
baby, they was like, you hear me? They you go in the doctor. I stole my baby toe. You gonna need oxycontin. You know,
listen,
oxycontin was.
I had saw somebody. I saw somebody call in, didn't even go to the doctor, called in, and the doctor told her because you couldn't call those prescriptions into the pharmacy because they're narcotics. So they would
Mhm,
could go. She went and got picked up the prescription. Hadn't didn't
mm.
see her. Hadn't seen her in like 2 months.
And just write
Hadn't
it at
seen
the
her. Just
leave it
writing it
at the desk.
up.
Just
Yeah.
leave it at the desk, the prescription at the and that's
Mhm.
what they so many but what it comes down to me is somebody is capitalizing constantly off the demise of our community and maybe not just our community. This is where I live, so this is what I see. Clearly it's happening in other places because I saw that special, like you said, down in Florida and coming all up through there. It's just so much hopelessness when it don't have to be like that. I mean, it's a lot,
That
it's a ton of money being given out for programs. We supposed to be rebuilding our infrastructure. You know, it's about time for them to start addressing the mental health crisis that we're having in this country. But the federal government is giving out so many dollars for these things, and yet it's almost like nothing is reaching the people who are affected the most.
Well, because the money gets in the hand. That's why it's so important for us to vote for our local and state government because we get the money had they you even Congressman Gildy with the water fund money. He said it. I've sent the money here. I've gotten the money here. The local leaders haven't done what they were supposed to do with the money. So
Mickey, I see. Go ahead, Steph.
B Marie, hey B Marie, thanks for
Because
t- thanks for coming on.
what's the comments? I see some
They
comments. From.
they was giving me 180 Vicodin, 100. Oh, they were giving you 180 trauma dolls. Every
Ooh.
oh my god, I didn't take all those, but that's how people got addicted. They did this all. Yeah, absolutely, Nicole. Absolutely. Like I said, I remember I had a procedure, and he was handing them out to me like Starburst. He was like, well, how many do you think you need? I'll just give you this about just in case, because sometimes well, I had a hysterectomy. And then they were just handing them out well, you might have some pain or something, and or
Listen,
whatever.
they
It
done
was.
gave me. I went to the doctor one time and told her I was having some chest pains. This is the first time I ever experienced this. They gave me nitroglycerin tablets. Okay, I'm like, now
Mhm.
wait a minute, you ain't sent me to no heart doctor, no
Ain't got a
specialist.
stress test or nothing. Yeah,
Girl,
that's
I
why I
wish I
said
would.
black women or even just women. And now the way things are looking,
Americans,
women are
Americans, because all
you
this
have to
lobbying.
advocate for yourself. You have to be an advocate for your own health. If you've been living with this body for how I told the doctor one time, I said, I've been living with this body for 50 plus years, baby. I know something is not right. So if you're not gonna respect or if you're not gonna listen to me and hear me out and do what I need you to do, then maybe I need to find somebody else that will, because you have to be your biggest advocate. You have to be.
Here's the problem with that though, and I'm gonna tell you what I know for sure, especially from working in the plant and seeing the devastation on a community concerning drug addiction, including paying pills. A lot of these people you would like to advocate for yourself, but when you then broke a hip, then cracked three
Mhm.
ribs, whatever, then been in an accident, then almost died, and you need the pain medicine uh in the beginning, but once they be so doped up. I
Mhm.
saw a video of this little boy. His mother was sitting on a step with his younger brother, and I don't know if she was overdosing or not, but this little boy was so frantic. When I tell you he slapped this lady so hard, and he was crying and he was frantic, and it was terrible. It was terrible. But this, you could tell from how he was hollering, "Mama, wake up," and how he was in a panic. He thought he was losing his mother. This is probably a 7-year-old boy. Okay. And I'm thinking about, you got your two babies. One of them was like a 2 or 3 year old, maybe a one. It was maybe a 1 year. You got your baby sitting there, and you about to zone out and lead them on their own because the trauma that they've experienced or whatever they're going through or whatever has happened to them in life is so devastating. They can't advocate for themselves. That's why it's a need for these programs. That's why we need inpatient, outpatient services. That's why I say, if you have a parent that's in that situation, you even need some type of family treatment
Mhm.
service, because these kids may not have done drugs, but that is traumatizing. That
We're
is
going through, like,
traumatizing.
they have taken a lot of, I remember back when we were growing up that they had a lot of like um community and services and things and mental health services. I One of my aunts used to have a group home, and that
Uh,
was like my little part-time, get money job that I would go
right,
and just help her around there with whatever she needed. I might be making may have to make them lunch, or I might have to
right,
um, you know I don't know, make sure they take their medicine, fold their clothes up or something. I just would help her
right,
around the house with them, because she actually lived in the house with them, and she had four women. And like, now they have these home facilities, but those women, they weren't um they maybe something happened in their life, and they maybe had a nervous breakdown or
right,
like
right.
that.
They weren't addicted, but they had issues.
They couldn't
Function on their own
function. Yeah,
independently.
like they wouldn't be able to. They could. She One of them had a little job. She worked at the Goodwill, and she would get up and go do her job and stuff every day and all that. But she wouldn't have been able to make sure that
Mhm.
her rent was paid, or make sure her bills was paid, or make sure the house, that she had
She
food
couldn't run. She
coming.
couldn't run a whole life
Yeah,
independently.
she
She
just
couldn't
didn't
run.
have that. And so you got these people that are turned out, and then they get addicted, and you see them. I mean, I've done things like volunteered at the soup kitchens and things like that, and you see it, like you see that they're this close to maybe being able to pull it together if they just had like somebody to kind of guide them
A
or help,
little support.
little support. And the drug thing, I mean, it's easily to be influenced when you're not. I mean, if you're not all together there as it is, and then somebody is
Right.
giving you something, and then all of a sudden you have somebody that already has some problems, and then you're giving them drugs and now you're exasperating the problem even worse. You're making.
Well, what we also got to realize is, this to me. Those are people that are preyed upon, and we're a preyed upon community. All these things I named, all the money that comes in here, there's no oversight. There's no, where is the programming? Where
Poverty
is the
poverty
assistance?
is profitable. Poverty is profitable, and if you don't believe it, sit back and look at this whole area since General Motors pulled out. Poverty is profit. There's no way that a new industry or a new economic stream of money has not been developed in this area. And General Motors started leaving here when we were graduating, 85, 88, 80,
Well, let me say this. Mayor Weaver, she did bring Lear. Okay. She brought Lear in here. But like I said again, nobody's looking to come to a place that don't even have clean drinking water, because when those industries come, they bring professional people with them. If I'm a professional person and I'm making good money, even if I'm coming here to get my bread buttered, I'm not bringing my children here to have water that's poison, that may give them behavioral problems, drug and crime infested community. Even if you live on the outskirts, like we said, those people come into Flint to get their drugs, and
Mhm.
the stuff spills. Yeah, the stuff spills. It starts here, but it spills
Mm-hmm.
all over. It spills all over. So, you know, I mean, I just don't understand how we think we're not going to give the bare minimum, which is clean water, some basic things like trash pickup, which we have trash pickup. But Jackson, Mississippi, they didn't have trash pickup for me. So when you're not providing things like clean water, trash pickup, grocery stores,
Mm-hmm.
entertainment for young people, what do we have that other than if you have a loved one here, what would attract anybody to our area? You can say we got colleges. Yeah, but once they get their degree, they gone. And I don't blame them.
And you don't blame them. I mean, I left because
Yeah,
the opportunities and stuff here, so I left. So I get it. I
yeah.
understand. Oh, hey, we got Miss Gladys on the line. Miss Gladys, hey
Can
girl.
you read them comments? Because I'm seeing some stuff flashing up.
One, one. Mickey Jordan, one Ted spin pop up on you. He gonna get Carol. I ain't like nothing. Drew Lena, America has over 2 million nonprofits. Poverty shouldn't even be a thing for us. Yet we have all these orgs servicing the needy. No, they're servicing the administrative fees of their administrators. Livy me, it spills into the schools. So now the schools are underperforming. Another reason people won't come to the city. You're absolutely right, Livy. I mean,
Yeah.
Carol can speak to that. We don't the tax base supports the school system. So guess what? If we have a group of people, houses and things that people aren't, getting their taxes, or the city's not getting their taxes and stuff from, how do we pay for food for schools?
And then to go along with that, our school system is considered a from school to prison pipeline.
Pipeline. Lenora,
I'm
you're
not trying to
absolutely
condition and then they so they're trying to refurbish or fix up some schools or whatever. They did get Doyle Ryder back going, but all the money that we've received into the Flint Community School District seems like they could have been a little more aggressive. But then I understand they're having some issues with people stealing the stuff while they over there working on homes. They vandalizing it. But I also think every time something happens good for the Flint Community School District, somebody set a school on fire. So I think it's by design. Somebody wants control over the whole kit and caboodle. That's my thought. But bottom line is, no matter what, until we get these issues as a community rectified and resolved, why would any savvy person, why would any financially secure, economically able person, or if I had a thriving business, why would I bring it to Flint? We don't have a great economy. Our job market doesn't support a robust and it doesn't support a robust economic opportunity for mom and pop and independent businesses because there's no industry jobs here. So how is mom and pop gonna make it when you don't really have anywhere that the residents can count on for employment? I mean, it's just so many factors that trickle
yeah.
down that, it's just that's why I named all those things: gun violence amongst youth, gang violence, opioid and fentanyl addiction, still in a water crisis coming off a pandemic. I mean, that's a hard sell. That's a hard sell.
Absolutely.
But I will say this. Somebody asked me, what does Flint look like if I got a chance to be on city council? The first thing Flint looks like, if I had the opportunity, I'm working on my task force and my public safety as far as policing, and then I got to check on that water. Okay, then I got to start following the dollars to see if how these dollars are going to benefit us. How are the dollars that are coming into our community from our federal government and whomever is giving it to us? How are those dollars benefiting the community as a whole? I'm
Because
like
we
you,
have had
Stephanie.
no accountability. Had no
Yes.
accountability.
No oversight. It used to be when you had a nonprofit, you had to let them know how you were spending that money, and you had to file these annual reports or however often
We
you
had
had.
to give them
But
updates and all kind of.
yes, now it's open. Now it's more like lie and say you got a nonprofit and make it rain on yourself, and ain't nobody gonna ask no questions. Because if we don't have enough police to come to violent crimes, we sure ain't got no people to watch no computer crimes and no white collar crimes and stuff like that, they usually let them kind of crimes slide anyway and go light on them. But that's an epidemic too. Okay.
And that's a lot of they're preying on they're preying on everybody, but you really see them preying on the elderly. I mean, I was listening to someone called here the other day, calling my mom, and or not too long ago, called my mom and was telling her that her order hadn't went through.
Yes.
First of all, anybody that knows my mother knows she ain't got nobody's Amazon account. She called me and she order and tell me to order it. She tell me what she wanted. And I have to order it. She ain't or she don't do that. That ain't what she do.
Right, right. And I understand that because that's not what I do. I'm just getting where I will order something. And then what they do is they call my dad every day, all day about his Medicare.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Same.
This is Medicare. We need some information. I told them, I said, they trying to identity theft you. Don't you give nobody no information. I instruct my old people, my mom, my dad, my aunts and
Hang
uncles.
up.
I let them. Hey, Social Security ain't got no business calling you on the phone asking for no personal information. Medicare don't. None of them people, the IRS don't call me and ask me about no personal information. If you
Right.
want to hear from me, you send me a letter in the mail and I come down to the office. Because
But
other
you know
than
the
that,
IRS don't call nobody. They gonna send you a certified letter.
right. And see, but you have old people that are not savvy, who are
Mm-hmm.
trying to conduct their own business, or, for whatever reason, some of them don't include their children in their business because everybody's child ain't trustworthy.
Yeah.
Some of these old people don't want their kids in their business because they'll empty out their bank account. So, you get these people who still feel like they're savvy. And, we done seen young people because, what's that? American Greed. I done seen some
Oh my
young people.
God.
Eddie
Yeah.
Murphy's ex-wife. They took, it's just so many scams going on, especially with this new technology. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a whole nother story. But we've got to get back to policing. We've got to get back to oversight. Like you said, we got to get back to accountability. That's just really what it comes down to.
I think that what I look forward to um, with you being on council and along with some of the other people that we have on council, like Tanya, Jerry, Pfeiffer, and Jared. I would love to start seeing some transparency and some accountability. I would love to the rubber stamping and the just letting things go through, and you don't even have no discussion. You don't even get in the weeds. What business, company, municipality can you have the CFO come to the podium and not be able to answer specific questions and not be held accountable to come back with those questions? And they ask the same questions over and over, and his answer every week is I don't know. I
Because
wasn't
he's
that.
been given permission not to answer them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if I was
But
his
why is that
boss,
okay? And why
what,
aren't the residents? We should be the
well,
residents.
why did the city council vote for unbalanced budget and vote for a no contract or a blind garbage trash contract that's running us in over by $2 million, which ultimately is going to send us into a deficit because it's not just over $2 million this year, it's the life of the contract every year, to my understanding. So, it's just like we got money to blow on everything except for the community and services that the taxpayers are paying for.
I
I
was
don't
gonna
understand it.
you know what? I I might not have been so upset if there had been a deficit if I saw some of these people that had tarps on their roofs removed or go if you're gonna go into the debt
See,
for
that's what I'm thinking.
if you're not don't go into debt because um somebody come on, you look at that garbage deal and say what you want to say, do what you want to do. It is who it is, or whatever. Somebody got paid off that garbage deal.
Absolutely. That's why it was. That's
Somebody
why
got
I said, because I need to see what I need to get after the fact. Once the business is handled, we need to see how much money is left over so we could divvy up X amount of. Absolutely, somebody getting paid. Why else would you be so negligent and derelict in your duties?
And
Why
then,
else would you be voting for all this nonsense? And you
and
supposed to
then
be.
this two-step came back around later on with the garbage carts, and it's like, wait a minute, y'all. Now, when all of this was going on, the carts was included, and now the carts are separate, and they need another they need another million, $2 million or whatever, and then you still, again, you didn't take the lowest bid with the garbage contract, and then you turn around with this, and you don't take the lowest bid again.
I mean, it's just all about, to me. I mean, and then with the throwing people out of the meetings when they ask questions, when they express dismay with you. I mean, it's obvious. You
Yeah,
not
hey,
They
I
ain't working for the people. I mean, to me,
don't.
how you working for the people and you throwing the people when they question you? Because it's their job to ask you what's going on with the money. That's their
Those
responsibility as
are the
taxpayers.
those are the city's chamber. Those are the residents' chamber. That's not council person in the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth ward chambers. Those are the people's chambers.
Well, guess what? The people get put out every time they come in their chambers.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, oh, Stephanie, you got thrown about it there for clapping. So yeah, nah, they cold with it. So my thing is this: at some point in time, we have to do some realistic governing. We have to truly do the work, and if we don't, we're gonna end up taken over by the state. And I don't think a lot of people understand what that means.
Well,
I don't think.
headed there now. Look at they've taken over the water thing. And let's be clear. We know what's going on with that, with the water thing, with the taking over the water line things.
Yeah,
It's
because
election
water is the new liquid gold. They do, because they get rid of them gas cars and going to electric. So that oil thing, that's gonna slowly but surely shut down. And so, you
time.
know, the money chase gonna shift. And water is big business.
Not only that, it's election time again. We got to button up this water thing because it's about to be time for the governor again. So the governor is about to pass the baton on to who? Because she's the lame duck, so she's got to pass the baton on to who's next.
Let me
So they
tell you
had
something.
to button up.
And in case you didn't know this, she didn't pass some type of law that if you work in a facility that has a union, you got to pay union dues. Why she getting in our business? Because if a person opt out of paying their union dues, evidently they don't feel like they being properly represented. Since
They,
when did the government start getting involved in organized labor? But I'm hearing she wants to run for president, but because she did that, she won't get my vote. Okay, when you get in the organized labor fight and your government, I am not supporting you because we all know who holds the bag, and you're gonna. It's all about the money again. She don't get rid of,
you know
because if
what?
you was about, how you gonna
We,
tell me I got to pay these people and I'm not getting? Girl, that made me so mad. So she could
and you
forgive
know
me.
what? It used to be a time when the UAW and the unions and stuff like that were were strongholds. I and I still support union. I'm still
I do too, but
I'm
I'm
still
just mad. But
pro
I'm
union.
not supporting her though. I still am going to support my union, and I've never opted out of my union dues. But the thought that you got the nerves to regulate if I have that option has thoroughly ticked me off. And for that, she and I used to love Big Gretch, but Gretch, you starting to show your true colors because you think you're gonna be the first female president, and I don't think America's ready for a female president, and I
Mm,
wouldn't vote for her if they were. But let me say this too. And y'all stop talking about how old Joe Biden is, like Donald Trump is young. Is y'all going crazy?
well, both of them are. I mean, you just look at both of them,
That's
and
what
you
I don't
like,
understand.
is this the best we got?
Trying to act like this. At least Joe Biden do know the game. Donald Trump wouldn't even read the information. He just out there just signing anything, and he doing like this city council, just signing the paperwork. Don't know what the contracts say. ain't got the ain't got the numbers right and all this mess, and they voting for it. So You can say what you want to say about, but at least Joe Biden at one point actually really played the game by the game rules and was successful. Go ahead, Steph.
I just think that right now we got 3 minutes, Carol. I just think right now we are in a perilous time. I think we need to, in the immortal words of a great man, Arthur Armstrong. Y'all need to, Arthur Armstrong, also affectionately known as Gator. Y'all need to pay attention. You need to pay attention. He
You
used to
sure
always
better
say
do
that.
that.
He used to always say that, and I remember him saying it. So I think we need to pay attention. We need to look around us. We need to see who we need to unify all of this division and
Follow the money, and
discord.
that'll tell you what side everybody on.
Right. If you
Follow that
follow
money.
the money, you'll understand. Everything will be clear to you. I always look when United States gets involved with a war or something like that to see what like the country or whatever. And I'm thinking now, what are they? Why? It's usually either they have some natural resources or the location of the
They
country.
want the land or something. They
Yeah.
and I'm hearing the to kind of go off track. I'm hearing something is brewing over in Syria too, like a civil war is brewing over there. So keep your ears peeled for that and keep them in prayer. And they don't even talk about Ukraine no more. Um, and
Yeah.
they were talking about these Russian warships is getting closer and closer to the United States. So it's a lot going on. But while we're being petty and not treating one another right, other countries are making moves, whether it's in technology, nuclear, firearm, or whatever they're doing. They're organizing, and we're over here. Keeping water from one another and stealing the money from the residents, and we have so much more to be concerned about in this day and age, I
We've got
think.
we've got a lot of we've got a lot of things that we need to get a hold of and take heed of, and it's just not happening. Well, Carol, it's been a
Mm,
good show as always. You know, we always have good conversation. I'll let you wrap up. But
okay.
just remember, this is Carol McIntosh, and she is running for First World Council person. I am I guess I'm her friend, but I'm also her campaign manager, and I hope you support her.
Yes. And my name is Carol McIntosh. I am running for your first ward city council seat. Um, I am hoping that I can get your support. I definitely will represent you and do what is right for us as a community, as taxpayers, as Americans. I promise to work for you and not myself. And I do not have a nonprofit. So until next week, until next Friday at 5, this has been a community conversation. I thank you for tuning in with us. And Mickey, thank you for hosting us and keeping us going. And until next week, I love you, love yourself, love somebody else, elevate yourself. Don't get caught up in the simplicity and the heaviness of the world. Keep your eyes on the prize. Be the best you can be. Don't worry about the rest of the stuff. Peace.